Today we're on a recreational level field which has DuraEdge Classic on it and has no access to water. Moisture management is very important when maintaining a field, but a field like this where you have no way to water the field, you either have to deal with what you have or do certain maintenance practices that help maintain this field. One main important thing to have is a good layer of top dressing on the surface. We have a mixture here of calcined clay and Pro Slide, and as you dig down below that you can see that the color of the infield mix changes, showing that the moisture is being held in the base of the material. You want to have this loose surface on top for sliding, especially in the summer months as things are starting to get drier and firmer. All infield mixes are going to get hard. That's why it's so important to have the right top dressings on your field and to groom your field to allow for a sliding surface. It's important to nail drag lightly on a field like this to leave a fine layer of material at the surface, but you don't want to go too deep because you still want to make sure it stays firm. And in the event of a rainstorm, if there's too much loose material on top, you're going to end up having a soft, wet surface and it won't dry as quick. So it's important to keep your base firm and keep a nice layer at the surface for sliding as well. Now it's hard to see in this video, but you can tell they've been drag matting through here with just a steel drag mat, and I see ridges. Again, when you're doing grooming, obviously whoever was grooming this field might have been going a little faster in a rush. One of our things is slow is pro, is what we like to say. When grooming, if you go too fast, the drag mat will start to bump and ride up and down, and you'll create a little wave effect. And you probably can't see it on camera, but being here I can see different ridges. So we have a high spot here and it's a little lower here. There's more material built up in this spot, more material here, and there's less top dressing here. More than likely that's from dragging this field too fast. It's very important to take your time, alternate your dragging patterns, not go the same pattern every time because you're just going to accelerate that waviness by going over it the same direction. If you go in a crisscross figure eights and keep changing your direction, it'll help fill in those low areas and take out the high spots. The ABI Force is one of the recommended tools for DuraEdge infields. It's a great tool whether it's a DuraEdge infield or a different type of infield mix, but the reason this machine works so well is that you have a Vibraflex nail drag. I spoke earlier about nail dragging your infield in the summer to keep a sliding surface. This machine allows you to set the depth of the nail drag without going too deep. And this time of year you want to stay about a 1/4 inch of loose material at the surface. So you don't want to nail drag more than a 1/4 inch or at a max a 1/2 inch. Mostly because this time of year you have the chance of a pop-up thunderstorm. If you have a lot of loose material on the surface, you're going to have a greater chance of having a rain out. So what we do with this machine is we lock our depth. Now we can't go any deeper than what we have it set at, and we can groom this infield and nail drag it to create some loose material so we have a better sliding surface. Currently this field has a decent amount of material that's loose at the surface, so we don't need to do a lot of nail dragging at this point. But this also is a great tool after rain to open a field back up to help it dry. And again, when we say open it up, we're going a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch at the most. And again, being able to set your depth is why this machine is recommended. A regular nail drag that you just tow behind has a greater chance of going whatever depth is allowed based on the weight of the nail drag. This, you can control it. If you don't have the ability to have an ABI Force, there's also the ABI Rascal. We would recommend a Pro or a MVP. Those units also come with a Vibraflex and have an adjustable wheel, set of wheels on the side that control the depth of the nail drag as well. And it's crucial to be able to control your depth of the nail drag. It's important when you're doing dragging of the infield to pay attention to what the drag mat's doing behind the machine. When I first started out, the chain was very short and the drag mat was bouncing and popping up and down as I was grooming. That over time will create a wave effect on the field, as I saw on the other section of the field. It's important to stop, adjust your drag mat so that when you're dragging you're creating a smooth surface. Again, slow is pro. If you go too fast you can make the drag mat bounce. It's important to stay off the grass edge, at least 12 inches, a rake's width off the grass edge so you're not throwing material into your lip or creating a lip into your grass. It's also important if you start running the drag into the grass, it will also make the drag pop up and down. So it's important to pay attention to what's going on behind you with the drag mat. Take your time, don't rush, make sure the drag mat is laying flat and not bouncing.